Tariffs have been in the news lately and are rightly the concern of all politicians and political parties. But they are nothing new to this area of Lambton County. In fact, the people of Petrolia, Oil Springs, have always been concerned about the application of tariffs and duties. A prime example of this comes from a newspaper article from 1896, when the tariff commissioners under a new Liberal government visited Petrolia. They wanted to hear the concerns of business and individuals as related to the application of protectionist tariffs. The federal ministers, Mr. Fielding and Mr. Patterson, arrived by train to the town of Petrolia, where they were greeted by shooting whistles and explosions from the nearby refineries, alerting the town to their arrival. This was done to much excitement. The entire town gathered together in a cooperative way to greet these ministers. They were quickly rushed to the finest hotel to rest, which would be the Iroquois Hotel, before embarking on a tour of the oil fields and the nearby Petrolia refinery, Imperial Oil. They were shown many of the wonders of this industry. In fact, a special shooting of a gusher was put on for them. Oil well was shot with nitroglycerin, and as these tense moments, people waited for the explosion only to see an eruption of oil, water, and gas shoot above the derrick, much to the delight of the onlookers. The issue was a young country such as Canada and how to apply tariffs. This new industry of petroleum wanted to maintain a 6-cent per gallon tariff on oil. This would protect the new young economy where Imperial Oil and many of the other local oil producers were gaining an increased market share. They weren't in a position at that period of time to compete against the monopolies and trusts in the United States that were headed up by John D. Rockefeller. He owned almost everything at that time in the United States and formed a monopoly. Oil tariffs were important to maintaining a level playing field. However, historical scholarship, according to History.com and the Canadian Encyclopedia, all state that oil tariffs and tariffs of any nature led to the increase of monopolies, the increased concentration of wealth in these robber barons, and led to a gilded age of increased wealth for those at the very upper end of society. They are very concerned with the rise of this elite. Progressives who advocated for free trade at this period of time blamed high tariffs as the root cause of corruption in capitalistic markets, leading to monopolies and corporate greed. Mr. Fielding and Mr. Patterson, who came to Petrolia to investigate the tariff situation and talk to the local population and the elites of society, were interested in these tariffs and how they would affect this new young industry within Canadian borders. Mr. Fielding and Mr. Patterson, these tariff commissioners, also talked to industrial manufacturers outside the industry. In particular, they talked to John Goodison, who was a manufacturer of threshing machines. He wanted the tariffs dropped on steel and pig iron. And this is because Nova Scotia wanted to maintain the iron tariffs, which was part of their major industry, and Nova Scotia also wanted to drop the tariffs on oil so that they could use oil in a much cheaper fashion. Mr. Goodson argued that oil was an established industry, but he needed to purchase low-cost iron and rolled steel from his associates in Port Huron, Michigan, which would be much cheaper than importing from the Canadian manufacturers. Ultimately, in 1896, under the government of Sir Wilfrid Laurier, the tariffs remained in place. These tariffs were much to the delight of the local oil producers. The issues regarding tariffs are nothing new to this community. We've all experienced it before, or our grandparents and great-grandparents have experienced it. What history teaches us is that it's important for the community to be able to voice its opinion and to be heard by its politicians. And together we can make our concerns known to local governments, municipal governments, and federal governments. All of this shows that these issues have been a cyclical part of our history. And now you know a little bit about tariffs in the 1896 oil fields of Lambton County.